Hello, this is my updated Nightblade tank build for this patch. So I wanted to go first over just my base stats. The food that I am using right now is the tri-stat food. I also use the Bewitched Sugar Skulls. They're a little bit more expensive to make, so I only end up using them really in the content where I would need a little bit more health recovery. And it's also my crafter, so I have a lot of food on there. I don't use it, but it's another one to generally use. I have the tri-stat potions slotted. You can also use the crown ones. They're slightly better, just by a tiny bit. But you can craft these with columbine, bug loss, and mountain flower. And just have some trash pots slotted on there. Okay, so right now I always keep on Alkosh for the most part. This is one of your main pieces you want on as a tank. It is a medium armor set, so you will generally want to keep it on your weapons and your jewelry. Okay, so what you're looking for is the 5-piece bonus. So you want to put this bonus on the enemies at least every 10 seconds. You can stack your Alkosh. It doesn't actually stack, but it will overlap the timers. So if you have one at like 10 seconds and one at 7 seconds, then you'll have that next one if you don't have the synergy right away. Have my shield and sturdy, have infused. You can also use decisive on this. Front hand. Usually keep the lightning staff on to help with the off balance, and I use blockade to keep up my enchants. There should be generally in the group a healer with Torig's on, which would override your crusher because it's a stronger crusher, but you still want to keep that on anyway for any that are missing. I do also use an ice staff. I have a couple different tanks, and I have my properly traded one on my Dragonite tank right now. Lord Warden is a good setup to use for your Nightblade tank. Mine is a high elf, so it helps a little bit more resistances. Keep on Earth Gore for something like Vet Cloudrest, and Stonekeeper is nice for something like Vet Sunspire, or anywhere that you want to be able to get some of your resources back. Yolnahkrin is what I would wear on body. It's a heavy armor set as a main tank. The reason being is you can see on the 5th piece bonus when you taunt the enemy that you give minor courage to your group members, so it makes both mag and stam DPS hit harder, and it can occur every 8 seconds. I like to keep all heavy on my tank, Nightblade tank, but if you're using like a Nord, you can do like a medium piece, or you can even 5-1-1. And I have Alkosh on my jewelry. I have a bracing enchant on one, reduce block cost, and then I have Magicka recovery on the other two. I do also have harmony options for VCR. Do have leeching. I just haven't needed to use that in a long time for a selfish set. And then Yolnahkrin. Other options for gear I keep on are Ebon, which you would use usually as an off tank, and that 5-piece bonus gives health bonus to the group. You don't want to put it on your weapons because when you swap weapons, it can lose the health bonus for someone else. It could mean their death, possible. And then leeching is a selfish set or battalion defender you can keep on. You don't really use those, as you can see, so generally just have those sets on. So I'll go ahead and take the sugar skulls here real quick. So this is my lightning bar. You can see what the stats are. max mag, max health, max stam, mag recovery. So that does help recovery. Otherwise on the tri-stat food, it does it on the long spin one. And you can see what the resistances are unbuffed. Apparently I've got the visual glitch where I'm riding my staff instead of having my sorted board on, but as you can see, that is what I have on right now. I don't know if I take it on and off if it'll show up. Okay, that is better. Okay, so a little bit different on stats on the front bar. If I do buff up, you can see my resistances go up to 32k approximately. So that's about where you'll want it. If I put on my Stonekeeper instead, I have a medium piece, just don't have the heavy on this tank. And you can see that my resistances are a little lower. 28k is still enough for most content. Do keep in mind when the lower mode in procs, I would be above the resistance cap. Okay. But I have my resistances generally higher for when I do wear Stonekeeper. Okay, now on to the skills. If you do need a chain, you're going to want to use Silver Leash from the Fighters Guild line. I like to use Pierced Armor so that I can always keep up the Major Breach and the physical and the Fracture on the most important ads and the boss. Heroic Slash, I really like to keep this in my rotation to get more ultimate up and also inflicts minor maim. You can also get that from monster sets. I just don't happen to use those because I like to keep this on my rotation. Dark Cloak I like to keep on because you get minor protection. While it's used, it lasts for 8 seconds. I put it up every rotation. Swallow Soul is just a nice personal hot for you. It can be swapped in and out. Bolstering Darkness I like to keep on for using it for a selfish ulti. And then anyone that's in the area can also get invisibility and help on them. So and everyone in the ring gets major protection, so it's really nice to use. On my staff bar, I keep on Leeching Strikes, and that restores stamina, and it also heals me with my light and heavy attacks. Okay, so for Inner Rage is from the Anonymous skill line. It is a range taunt. You can use this more in a Nightblade tank if you have more magicka, but you'll still want to use your Pierce Armor to give the Fracture and Breach. Blockade of Storms is the longer morph. It lasts for 14 seconds. You like to keep that for the off balance and to proc the enchant. The Mirage is nice for the major evasion and minor resolve. So I like to keep that up. You only need to cast it every few rotations, so you can see, because the duration is 26 seconds. Refreshing Path is nice for the expedition, so you can group odds easier, move through the trial quicker, and it gives you a heal. What's most important with this is the passives, which I'll go over that. Aggressive Horn should never take off your bar because it gives major force for 10 seconds when you use it. Okay, so reason that I have Mirage on this bar, you can see the passives. Okay, so when you use have this on, when it's slotted, you give your group minor savagery, which is really important. Okay, so that's one of the things that Nightblades give. If there aren't any Nightblade DPS in the group, you're really going to want to have that on, and you're going to want to double bar another ability. I would personally choose the Merciless Resolve. Okay, and I would put that on instead of the leash if I don't need it, or instead of swallow. If I put that on there, I have it double barred, so we get the hemorrhage passive. So anytime I do crit damage. Okay, another thing that you can slot instead if you don't need the heal is Soul Harvest. Okay, so it helps you gain more ultimate. Nightblades also gain a lot of ultimate, so you'll find that your Warhorn is up quite often. So you can use that instead of bolstering darkness if you need chains or whatnot. Okay. Next thing for this one, this is why I generally like to keep the bolstering darkness and the refreshing path, one on each, or at least the dark cloak on, for different passives here. So it increases your recoveries, and anytime you cast the ability you get major resolve. And then your max health is increased for each ability slotted. And the duration is increased, so that's nice. For the siphoning, I have Swallow Soul on the front bar and Leeching Strikes on the back. Sap Essence is another one that you can throw in there if you need another heal. Okay, it doesn't really do too much for you. It just heals you and your allies for a tiny bit. But the reason I have it on both bars is if I drink a potion on either bar, then I gain ultimate. I have more max magicka, more healing done, and when it's casted, you generate more ultimate. Okay, so I usually like to keep Swallow Soul on one bar and Leeching on the other. I don't generally use this ultimate at all. You'll definitely want to have your passives in here. Destruction Staff, you'll want to have Elemental Drain and Crushing Shock available. They're good utility skills. I do not like the Trifocus because if I use a Frost Staff, then I can taunt the enemy, and if I'm trying to regen mag if I need it because I don't use balance, then you don't really need the balance on Nightblade tank. Then if you heavy attack, you could take the boss away. And that's just a mess. Okay, for when I was 501, I had these passives. I use all heavy now, so you just want to make sure you have all of those passives in there. Fighter's Guild, put back on my Silver Leash. Another good option for Flex Spot is your Ring of Preservation. Okay, so I would use this in VHOF or other places where you need minor protection and want some stamina recovery. Mage's Guild, I don't actually use any of those on this tank right now. Orthogic. Undaunted, you'll want to have Overflowing Altar available for VCR. Shadow Silk is another good one for synergies. For the group, if you have extra space, is Bone Surge or Energy Orb. Want to make sure you have those up for yourself, for those passives. Vigor, I would just use it if I had Powerful Assault, like in B-Mall off tank, hard mode. Okay, and support, you want to make sure you have Efficient Purge available. I generally use my Flex Spot as my square. Put it wherever you want, but that's what I use. You'll want to keep more things up on a Nightblade than you would on a DK, so there aren't as many Flex Spots. Guard is nice to have available as well. I can VHOF last boss in hard mode. I am a high elf, so for the reason I chose high elf is because I wanted to have these different passives on here. So when I use a class ability, then I restore mag or stam, whichever is lower. And when I use something with a cast time, I take less damage. My max magic is increased to 2,000. Actually, spell damage, that's not as big of a deal, but I really like having this on Nightblade tank. She can just go forever. You want to make sure that you have your medicinal use up so your potions last longer. She happens to be my crafter. Okay, champion points. I generally keep them the same for each trial. You can look up different champion points for the green and the red if you want for different trials. I don't and generally end up changing them, and it's fine. The green is more for your playstyle. I like to be able to reduce the cost of these stamina abilities for the Nightblade tank. Since I do some heavy attacks to regen mag, then that's why I have some in tenacity. And the mag and stam recovery. And I like to reduce the cost of block. So if you do need to perma block some fights, then it's okay. I have my buffs and my Elfhorn up. You'll want the Elfhorn at least 72. It's just a couple extra points that I had. I have these in my physical weapons expert and thaumaturs. You can put them in whatever you'd like for that. And this is generally where I have my red CP at. Okay, and I think that is it for Nightblade tank. Let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like me to go over anything else. Thank you.